Hello and welcome. Yes, today, right now, I gotta go pick up my big bus van thingy that I gotta drive around today. But I really wanted to talk about car enthusiasts, petrol heads, if it was so. And like different kinds. Like I like talking about cars. It's kind of why I'm making this channel, and I got a really good friend that, we get together, and as soon as we start talking, it ends up being about cars and driving, and the hours disappear. I mean, we spent, I think it was a weekend. Was it a weekend? He came out for a weekend on the island there. We shot a YouTube video of my car. But, I expected to be doing videos with him all weekend, of the cars, driving around and doing a bunch of editing, and that didn't happen. Like I was like, we were the second day in, and I said that to him as well. I said that to him. I'm like, I thought we'd be, but we ended up talking, and he goes, the exact same thing. He brought all his equipment. He thought we'd be out there doing, but we spent a little bit of time catching up and what's going on in life. We just ended up talking about cars and all kinds of different situations. And I don't mean like on the road here. I mean, I should say more like, I wasn't interested in cars when I had grown up. Even after I got my driver's license, I didn't care about cars, really, other than they were fun to drive. And to me, that's why I like cars. They are fun to drive around. And then you get into all the specifics of the 0s to 60s, the lap times, the interiors, how it makes you feel, basically, is what all that comes down to. And, I'm not ever looking for the best car. Ever, really. I'm not even into modding, other than, I had a friend when we were in our 20s, he was into modding, he was into tuning. And that's what he would do. He'd build a car, and then he'd give it to me and say, here, try it out. Tell me what you think. And I get that I run into a lot of baby boomers, old guys that have had this car, this project that they put in their garage, and that they stay out of their wife's way after retirement by being in there and polishing their car, getting parts for it and fixing it up, and then go. But I was talking with one of those guys, and at my last job, and that's what he did. He put together an old truck, and he came to me and goes, so do you like these old cars? I said, yeah, of course. Yeah, they're gorgeous and all of that. And he goes, do you have a car to show off, or do you have a car that you like to drive? And I said, drive, absolutely, 100% drive. And he goes, yeah, that's me too. Like, he's got this old 60-something Ford truck or Chevy truck, I think it is. But he's not keeping it original. He's making it so that he can drive it around. That's where his pleasure comes from. Yes, it's the car, and he's putting it together, and it's old, and it won't fail because it doesn't have all the electronics in it. And he likes going to the car shows and stuff, and he told me a little story of going to these car shows with his wife, and they do the whole car show thing, or they do the scavenger hunts, and they do the prowls and things like that. But the cruises. But he was saying to me that it's kind of funny because we go to these car shows, and these guys who have spent all this time polishing their cars and getting the right parts and making it look just so, and they get to go to the car show, and if it's a concourse or whatever, and get graded on it. But then at the end of the thing, when the cruise comes, they all jump in their brand new SUV, and he jumps in his old car to go on his old truck, to go on his on his cruise there. But he's asking, they all jump into his, and they all jump into their wife's car. And he asked them one time, he goes, how come you guys don't take your cars that you've spent all summer all winter, polishing and making so it's just so and runs right and all of this. And he goes, oh, they drive terrible. You know, we'll get halfway through the cruise and it'll break down. You know, and what a tragedy. What a tragedy. Like, I really do like these companies that have come out and have focused on taking old cars and modernizing them so that you can drive them around. I got to give kudos to the people that do that, because wow, those old cars do look good. I mean, I was shopping for these little SUV things and I was just dismayed at what was out there. Cars are ugly. I drive around and go, oh my God, somebody spent. And cars are expensive now. That's what gets me. $40,000, $50,000 buys you a run-of-the-mill crappy little car, and they're ugly. And that used to be a mortgage. Back when I was a kid, that was a mortgage. And I look at cars and I see what people are driving and I go, you're spending, that much money on that? Like, your entire income, half of your income is going towards that car, for insurance, for gas, for you name it. Cars are expensive to run nowadays. But yeah, like, what kind of car enthusiast are you? I should ask that. I'm in it for the driving and the experience of, maybe a car has an experience that I'll never get again, and I'll like to take a run in it because it'll be fun, right? A friend of mine who runs that YouTube, that's the same thing. He's got behind the wheel experience. I'll figure out how to put the link in the description for him. And or you just like cars for what they are, the poster on the wall sort of thing. They look great, it gives you thoughts and images in your head of a lifestyle, of what it's like to own this car. So I remember that about Lamborghini Countach when it came out, and the Vectors, and the Lotus Esprit. Like, those cars when they came out, and I was like, ooh, wow, what is that? That's cool. Lotus was with James Bond, the Countach was in everything, super expensive, but they look like spaceships, right? Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about in this video. Yeah, let me know what kind of car enthusiast you are. If you just need it to get to A to B, maybe that's just it. Something comfortable and clean that you can get to A to B in. Maybe that's the kind of person you are. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks.